I'm a diabetes specialist, and so I see people who live with diabetes, and I work with people who live with diabetes, and I'm very interested in people who face challenges, socioeconomic challenges in the context of their diabetes. And so we work together with a group of people called the Calgary Diabetes Advocacy Committee, and we created a movie together called Low. And what Low does, it tells their stories of having lived with diabetes while experiencing homelessness through the lens of a character named Bobby. So it's portrayed as a fictional movie, but it really is the true stories of our co-researchers.
My role is to tell my side of the story about my time in the shelters and my struggles to maintain my diabetes, which there was no maintaining because it was all high carbs, right? So I'm just bringing my story to the table to help the next generation figure it out.
Diabetes is a really complex illness, and it requires people to do a lot of things, dietary things, medication management, testing blood sugars, physical activity. And so, I see patients with diabetes, I ask them to do this whole complex web of things. And when people are trying to implement those things, but they're not living in a situation where they're in control, they're living in shelters, they don't control their medicine, they don't control what they eat, it gets very difficult and challenging. And what makes it even harder is that there's a whole stigma around it, that when people see people developing diabetes, well, it's common to blame people for that. Well, it's your fault because you ate a certain type of food. Or when people see people taking insulin, it's easy to think, oh, they're injecting illicit substances. And so there's a whole bunch of stigmas that overlap, both for people with diabetes and people living in situations of homelessness. When you combine the two together, it's a perfect storm of challenging situations. And so that's really what we're trying to educate people about.
I like to be a part of some change. If I can help make change in a positive way, whether it's through the shelters or the medical world, if I can just be that little smidge of help, to me it's a slam dunk.